can I have your comments, please? Our next speaker is Kathy Herbert. Thank you. Again, after you've spoken, if you could please leave the first row to make room for the next group of speakers.
My name is Kathy Herbert. Commissioners, I would like to thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm a semi-retired owner in Sullivan County. My husband and I are members of the Sullivan Delaware Coalition. I've lived in New York State all my life, and I'd like to say that I support natural gas production in New York. And following these public hearings, I hope that you will also. New York is not immune to the current economic downtrend. Our neighbors and children need jobs and should not have to move out of the state to get one. As a business owner, I am very aware of the economic opportunities presented by hydraulic fracking. It would put our communities to work and generate revenues that could be spent at local businesses and collected in tax revenues. This is just one of the reasons that I support local gas production. The second reason is that as a resident of New York, I believe the practice to be safe. I would not put my family and 7 grandchildren and my community at risk. As your report explains, New York's DEC is staffed by expert regulators with industry experience and experience regulating natural gas production. In addition, the industry has a good track record drilling in the Marcellus Shale. These are reasons to push ahead and to allow well-regulated drilling in New York. I appreciate your time that you've spent here today. And after all this is over, I hope you will move ahead and issue permits so that operators can access the shale and New Yorkers can get to work, and that the farmers may still be in the area, and we won't have to tell our grandchildren when they ask, "What's a farm, Grammy?" Thank you.
Thank you. Willie Hewson.
Well, my name is Willie Hewson, and I am a dairy farmer. A lot of what I have to say has already been said today and many times before, but I want to take time to say it again because it bears repeating. The drilling of natural gas with hydrofracking techniques can be done safely and effectively. I believe it has a lot of benefits to New York, and that operations should be approved so that we can begin seeing the results. As a dairy farmer, I am concerned about environmental hazards more than anybody else, and I would be concerned about drilling if there was anything at all to worry about. But we're talking about procedures that have been done and used for many, many years and have survived endless scrutiny against what have been found to be baseless claims by some media and activists. Natural gas is cleaner burning and can lessen many of our domestic energy concerns. When drilling is approved, it will help to stabilize energy prices from farms to factories to households. That would surely be welcome news. Haven't we conducted enough studies? No one has established any reason to forgo these plans. Moreover, I have talked with too many friends who have been out of work and could be working on those well pads instead. We need to get these men and women back to work, and tens of thousands of jobs that will become available as a result of drilling in New York will give them the chance. It's time to stop talking and get drilling. Thank you.
Thank you. Inga Gray Kiklas. Thank you. I have INGE. Oh, there you are.
My name is Inge Grafe-Kieklak. I'm a landowner and member of JLC&Y. 2 weeks ago, I attended a Marcellus Shale job creation seminar in Monticello. And would you believe, 3 NIMBYs showed up. I was wondering, do they also need a job? In the question and answer session, there came the usual scare tactics from their side. But it did not scare or impress these people there. They gave them a dose of reality. I saw greed in a very pure form. We tell you how to conduct your life. We know best, and the heck with you. Go for minimum wage if you can find a job. What arrogance. Our October import of oil was 330 million barrels, or $36.4 billion. This is about $816,086.64 per minute. In our economy, how can we afford this? We have the opportunity right under our feet, and we are frivolous enough to make our country, other countries rich. DEC, in this ocean of emotion, lies, and misinformation, please be a beacon of reason, facts, and science, not politics. It is in your hands to get upstate New York off life support. Give its hope and dignity back. Make it an empire state again. In these hearings, all I hear from the NIMBYs is ban drilling for natural gas. What an infantile suggestion to solve a problem. No compromise. DEC, I urge you, let us frack for jobs, cleaner, greener, homegrown, local, sustainable New York natural gas. Don't let a few so-called environmental radicals ruin and rule this state. We have been patient enough. 3.5 years is more than enough. You have worked very hard on this document. Let us get cracking, creating jobs without government subsidies. Open New York for business, and let us feel good again about this state.
Edward Alleys. Edward Alleys. Ma'am, can I have your comments, please? No, I cannot give it to that. I made so many things. Okay.
I am Edward Alleys. I am a small business owner with property in Sullivan and Delaware counties. I served in the Army in World War II, so you know that I've been around for a while.
Quiet, please.
I was proud of my country. It was the nation's finest hour. But that was then. Now I wonder what is becoming of my country and state. Taxes are among the highest in the country, driving businesses from the state, and unemployment is high. Our young people leave for opportunities elsewhere. Yet NIMBY alarmists stoke unreasoning fear of the hydrofracturing process with assumption, speculation, supposition, conjecture, and above all, wild imagination. Over 1 million wells have been hydraulically fractured in multiple states with no contamination of
I'm sorry, Mr. Alleys, I'm going to
groundwater
interrupt you.
aquifers
Sir, let
by
me interrupt you.
fracturing fluids.
Mr. Alleys, let me interrupt you just
I
for 1
submit-
second. Sir, let me interrupt you for 1 second. I'm going to remind the people in the audience, this hearing is going to give everyone an opportunity to make their comments. If there are people in this audience that are not going to be respectful of the speakers, then I'm going to have to ask them to leave, because every person that's here has an opportunity to make their comments. And I am going to ask anyone to leave who is not respectful. I'm sorry, sir, to interrupt you. Please continue with your comments.
I submit that this constitutes a clinical testing, if you will, of the drilling fracturing process. Now, with the revised SGEIS, we have proposed regulations so restrictive that, if enacted, would preclude much of the areas of prime Marcellus and Utica shales from being developed. And that means much of these areas will remain economically depressed. Proposed regulations for activities at and around the well pair have been added and strengthened, so much so as to make the greater setbacks redundant. I speak of the arbitrary 4,000-foot setback from watershed boundaries, which will remove large areas from the possibility of leasing. In effect, this is de facto banning. Are we here in New York to watch Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia and other states proceed with the extraction of natural gas with its attendant economic boost, while we here in New York are experiencing continuing hemorrhaging of industry, jobs, and people in a declining Empire State? Empire State, is that a misnomer? 3.5 years is enough.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can I have your comments, please? Arlene Hewson.
Yes, hello. My name is Arlene Hewson of the Bethel Landowners Coalition. I'm a bookkeeper, a mother of two, and a resident of Jeffersonville, New York, and a dairy farmer. Most importantly, though, I'm a supporter of hydraulic fracturing. Today I ask that the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, along with Governor Andrew Cuomo, do all that they can to support hydraulic fracturing in our state and help put upstate and western New York on the map when it comes to energy development. As the DEC's own report on hydraulic fracturing stated that the process would have immense benefits for New York's economy and that increased in-state energy production could lower costs for users and consumers. At a time when most New York families, especially in upstate and western New York, are still struggling to get by, this news could not be more welcome. I have friends and family who have children looking for jobs in New York. Why can't their job be an energy job? It would be a tremendous loss if New York missed out on the opportunity to tap into the full potential of the shale gas revolution. Pennsylvania and Ohio and upstate New York are already ahead of us in terms of Marcellus shale development. And as such, they are already reaping the benefits of increased natural gas production through hydraulic fracturing. Each state has added thousands of high-paying, dependable energy jobs and generated millions of dollars in economic output because they have realized the immense role that shale gas will play not only to our nation's economy, but to our quest for energy security. The more energy that we can produce here at home, the less we will have to rely on unfriendly nations for our energy needs. This is true. Hydraulic fracturing is one way to help increase American energy and support American jobs and fuel the economy. As Pastor John Hagee of Texas said, quote, "If Iraq stops the flow of oil to the U.S., this is Pastor John Hagee, our food shelves will be empty in 72 hours or less," unquote. Please do all that you can to ensure New Yorkers do not miss out on this energy revolution. There is simply too much at stake. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Earl Cowley.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here today. I believe the scientists and engineers of the Department of Environmental Conservation have researched and developed the regulations required to allow responsible gas exploration within New York State. However, my concern is that anti-economic development special interest groups and lobbyists have had inserted non-engineering and imaginary safety issues into the regulations to delay this implementation. Examples are the unreasonable and unnecessary setback requirements, focus areas for grasslands, forest protection, and endangered species. These restrictions would reduce available land for development from 85% to 40 to 50% of the Marcellus Shale. These focus areas seem only to apply to the natural gas industry. According to the last census, over 1 million people have left New York State in the last 10 years. Without meaningful economic development, the only endangered species in New York State will be its working class citizens. In accordance with the New York State ECL, Article 23-0301, in the public interest to regulate and develop production and utilization of oil and gas in the state to prevent waste, authorize and provide for the operation and development of oil and gas properties in such a manner that our greatest ultimate recovery of oil and gas may be made. New York State Energy Plan, strategies and recommendations in the plan are intended to make energy more reliable, secure, and affordable for New Yorkers. New York natural gas for New Yorkers is secure, reliable, and very affordable. New York State goal is economic recovery. Then the plan, council, and panels should look at the positive facts, not the emotional fears based on distortion of facts advanced by fearmongers. Governor Cuomo has charged the Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Council with removing unnecessary barriers to job creation. Critical issues focused on our infrastructure and shovel-ready sites. Hint, start issuing drilling permits, and the shovels will be in the ground before the ink is dry. 3.5 years is long enough. Move it. Thank you very much.
We're going to call our next group of speakers.
At this time, I'd like to call speakers 12 through 21. That would be William Cooks, Jim Malden. Please take a seat in the very front row. Jill Weiner, Mav Moorhead, Burke Moorhead, Ramsey Adams, Andy Bartzak, Gillian Barber, Kathleen Nolan, and Ted Rogowski.
Our next speaker is Aaron Price.
Good afternoon. My name is Aaron Price. High-volume hydraulic fracturing is safe. Horizontal drilling and high-volume hydraulic fracturing produce jobs and energy and are building a better future for all Americans. All Americans except those who live in New York. 20 months ago, my documentary, Gas Odyssey, premiered in Binghamton, New York. Since my film's premiere, Susquehanna County, PA, has continued to develop the Marcellus Shale, and New York State has continued to wait. Farmers and landowners in New York can no longer afford to wait. Those who believe in the future of upstate New York cannot wait. And struggling communities can no longer afford unnecessary delays in a process that was meant to be a process, not an obstacle. Those who support gas drilling believe New York can grow, believe that New York can prosper, believe that New York State can once again attract more than movie vans and for sale signs. New York State sits on top of the energy of the future. New York has a great future if it is willing to tap that energy, if New York is willing to turn the wheels of industry once again and stride forward. We can't have an America with more natural gas cars and trucks and buses on the road, and New York can help. We can't have an America where polluting coal is replaced by clean-burning natural gas, and New York can help. We can't have an America whose economic expansion is fueled by the energy resources under Main Street, not from overseas, and New York can help. DEC, thank you for a document, the SGEIS, which shows with page after page of detail and fact that high-volume hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling are safe. But it is time for the debate to stop and time for the good work of developing all the shale formations across New York to begin, for the benefit of our country, for the benefit of all New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Lacy.
My name is Chris Lacy. We are now in the third year of the delay in drilling for shale energy in New York State. We are still in what appears to be a never-ending circus of meetings, public comments, and new regulations. The antis are perfectly happy to keep the circus going. They don't want drilling anywhere, ever. The antis...
Excuse me. Go ahead,
You
ma'am.
aren't controlling that. The antis use fossil fuel every day of their lives, but they refuse to accept any responsibility for producing it. 3 years ago, the antis said, we don't need shale energy to bring jobs and prosperity to New York. Well, it's been 3 years. Where are the jobs? I'll tell you where the jobs are. The jobs are in Pennsylvania, drilling for shale energy. The jobs are in Ohio, drilling for shale energy. The jobs are in West Virginia, drilling for shale energy. The jobs are in North Dakota, drilling for shale energy. The antis shout the mantra of green, renewable energy. Green energy has become synonymous with scam. Just think of Solyndra, Sun Power, Evergreen Solar, and Beacon Power. Green energy is a pipe dream. It is impractical and unaffordable as a replacement for fossil fuel. Not one person in this room today will still be alive when and if the world is ever able to provide ample and affordable energy to everyone without using fossil fuels. The revised draft SGEIS shows that the DEC is very concerned for the survival of endangered species like the black-throated blue warbler and the timber rattler. I'm concerned about the survival of the endangered species, the family farm. Upstate New York is not a nature preserve. It is a place we live and work. I challenge the DEC to create a system of regulations that will encourage safe drilling in New York State. Overregulation is, in fact, a ban. Make the regulations realistic. New York State and America need jobs and affordable energy. We can have them both, right here, right now, if the DEC will do its job. And on one further comment, all the obnoxious behavior in this audience has been from one side of the argument. We have kept our mouths shut and been respectful, and almost every speaker, they are jeering and making comments, and you're not controlling it.
Before I call my next speaker, I'm going to now direct my comments to two members of the audience who unfortunately have repeatedly interrupted other speakers. If this continues, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave because I cannot have two people interrupting numerous speakers over and over again. If this continues, I will have to stop the hearing and I will have to ask the law enforcement officials to please remove you from the audience, which will delay this hearing and prevent more people from speaking, which is counterproductive. So I'm asking now politely for the last time, please refrain from interrupting other speakers. This is a respectful proceeding. We will respect every speaker or we will have to leave the auditorium. Our next speaker is William Cooks.
Good afternoon. My name is William Cook, and I'm here on behalf of Citizens Campaign for the Environment. We're an 80,000-member nonpartisan advocacy organization that works to protect the public health and the environment. Let's talk about what we know. We hear a lot of people say it's safe. We hear a lot of people say it can be done safely. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of safe is an absence of risk. I have with me today a New York State Bar Association journal, interesting article on this. Again, New York State Bar Association, lawyers. I'm thinking they probably know what they're talking about. They looked at a 2010 Form 10KS that Chesapeake Energy submitted with a federal agency. And according to Chesapeake Energy, the business of natural gas extraction with fracking includes many risks, including well blowouts, craterings, that's an interesting one, explosions, probably not good, pipe failures, fires, uncontrollable flows of natural gas and well fluids, formations with abnormal pressures and other environmental hazards and risks. Drilling operations, according to Chesapeake, involve risk from high-pressure mechanical difficulties such as stuck pipes, collapsed casings, separated cables. According to Chesapeake, if any of these hazards occur, it can result in injury or loss of life, that's code for death, severe damage or destruction of property, natural resources and equipment, pollution or other environmental damages, and cleanup responsibilities. The cleanup responsibilities is interesting because according to the New York State Bar Association, these energy extraction companies like Chesapeake are exempt from, hydraulic fracturing is exempt from regulation under Safe Drinking Water Act. That means the landowners are liable. Oil and gas development stormwater discharges are exempt under the Clean Water Act. Air emissions are exempt. Oh, by the way, the water issue, we can talk about it. The air issue is easily looked at. You can count the number of pads, count the number of compressors, count the number, you can do the math. The air degradation as a result of this industry, you know, there's no discussion. That's just the way it is. Expect air quality similar to Mexico City. I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's not good. A couple of things we need to talk about. One is we hold in high regard a lot of DEC employees and DEC management, and we have a lot of respect for them. They do a good job. DEC is not driving this train. Andrew Cuomo is driving this train. We don't believe DEC would have done a generic environmental impact statement without a public health cumulative impact unless they were told not to do that by the governor. We are calling on the governor.
I'm sorry, sir, your time is up.
Thank you.
Jim Malcolm?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is James Malcolm. I'm here as a member of the Clean Growth Now Coalition. I am president of Carpenters Local 279. I represent 3,000 members there, and also I'm vice president of the Hudson Valley Building and Construction Trades, which covers 25 crafts and nearly 15,000 members. We believe in responsible growth. We believe in responsible drilling. I can understand the concerns in this audience. They're well-founded. But I have concerns also. I have the concerns of the economic barometer is going down while the unemployment rates are going up. My members are moving further north, further west, further north, further east. And there needs to be some sort of development that goes on here. If there's clear oversight and responsible drilling, I don't see an issue with it. I'm sure I stand on one side of the issue, a significant amount of people here stand on the other side. Once again, I do believe that it's going to drive the economy in Sullivan County. Casinos that were supposed to have been here 10 years ago still aren't here. Farms that have been abandoned, businesses that are abandoned. You need to do something. The trades feel, and I feel as part of the coalition that I'm with, that responsible oversight in this hydrofracking procedure is warranted. And, you know, I mean, I just speak from the heart. I'm looking for opportunities for my members. I'm looking for responsible development of energy sources. And at the end of the day, I'm hoping we find a solution here. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your respect.
Thank you.